Another successful chance one prediction. Who's next? You!
I saw Shamu in chat asking what was happening. Bowblax's OnlyFans has been leaked. We've seen whole hog, we've seen dresses, all sorts of horrible sights.
That's fucking Bowblax, dude. That's Josh.
I was raped. Okay? I was raped. I'm a victim. But no, like, I was 100%, I am the raped.
I am the ultimate she-male.
We love got here, baby. Got. Yummy.
Bowblax is a man prominently known for reading tweets and being addicted to weed. Bowblax is famously autistic, and as such he could not stick to his lane of reading tweets. No, this guy had to go and develop an ego. And as we all know, there is nothing more dangerous than an autist with an ego. Now, if I was making a six-figure income off of reading tweets for, at max, 15 hours a week, I would be very happy. But Bowblax couldn't just put the tweets in the bag. No, he had to try and be an e-celebrity. Debates where he inevitably breaks down and starts crying in the end, thinking he's popular enough to sell a neckbeard plushie, 100 bully streams on the same easy target. But despite all of this, Bowblax is what I could only describe as the Anne Frank of the commentary community. This little disabled autistic freak has been squirreled away, hidden in the attic for years by the commentary community. But now, we've found him, and to be honest, he's going into the gas chambers. Now let me explain something here. There are two simultaneous lines of drama happening with Bowblax. There's the community drama about him lying about BPD and secretly recording calls and stuff like that, which I don't give a shit about. And there's the much more serious crime of posting pictures of his penis on Reddit. Betray all your friends? Okay, cool. No biggie. But you dare to be transgender. No, not on my watch, buckaroo. The main theme of this video is hindsight. Now that we know his true nature, it puts many things in his past into a new perspective. In April 2024, during a Tipster bullying stream, Bowblax logs onto his alt Twitter account in order to read tweets from Tipster. Upon logging into his account, we see this post on the front of his Twitter feed. Now at the time, everybody looked at this and said, haha, Bowblax is a gooner, so funny. But this isn't funny. This was merely a prelude of the horrors to come. So other than these small hints, life goes on until he has his fallout with the commentary community, at which point he tells them all he's non-binary as some strange form of reverse blackmail, where he thought that the random A-loggers he was sending DMs to wouldn't leak it if he mentioned that he was non-binary. He then also sent a picture of himself wearing a dress to one of his Twitter Versus employees, which was almost immediately shared around. Now there's a lot to unpack with this. Firstly, if you don't want people to know about this, don't draw attention to it publicly, or at least claim it was a joke instead of claiming that you're transgender. Secondly, why in God's name would you send something like this to random people on the internet? And then thirdly, considering that they are random people on the internet, why would you not anticipate that this might get shared around or leaked? After his dress-wearing proclivities were revealed, he went on stream to discuss it, and based on his big stream, we can ascertain a few things. For one, his parents hate him and wish he was dead.
Basically, like, I was like, my parents don't love me. And then I kind of, like, broke down and, like...
Number 2, all of the dresses were taken from one or many women. I don't believe that women like Bowblax, so we have two options. Either this woman is trans, or alternatively, we have an Isabella Janky situation on our hands here.
Guys, it's not Bowblax. It was Christian who did it. It's not Bowblax. I'm someone completely different. So anything Bowblax does is not on me.
This guy is autistic, by the way. He also sexually fantasizes about wearing a dress and raping Keemstar.
Dude, was I in a miniskirt when I fucking owned Keem?
I was in a relationship with a girlfriend, and you still tried to fuck me forever. I'm not interested. I don't find you fucking attractive.
which if I was Keemstar, I would be really fucking scared. He also expresses ecstasy and pride when reminiscing about being on the RFC after hours in a miniskirt. Maybe with a big dildo up his ass as well, who's to say? Despite all of this, however, he assures us that it's not a fetish, it's a lifestyle, before immediately leaking his transgender OnlyFans account called Mr. Miss Manshi.
That's a fetish, because it's not in sexual context, just in general. Like, I'm not hard when I'm wearing it. I just like it better. I like I just like it. I like, you would like shorts over pants in some scenarios, or wearing a t-shirt or a hoodie. Like, I don't know. Why would I be into tampons? What? I'm a cop. Why would I? What? That makes no sense. I really should not be answering all these questions.
And based on the upload times of this account, we can actually confirm that he uploaded content on the same day as this stream. So he got himself so worked up talking about raping Keemstar, talking about defiling RFC After Hours, that he had no choice but to put on the dress and start choking the chicken. Or in this case, choking the hamster. That's actually what it looks like, by the way. It does look like he's squeezing a hamster in his fist. Or just any sort of small, furry rodent. Let me give you the timeline of events here. He changed his gender to X on his driver's license, started experimenting with women's clothes, and then started jerking off in a dress on OnlyFans. It really went from like 0 to 100, to be honest. All this happened over like a weekend. Yeah, he tried on a dress one time, and within a week he was plugging on OnlyFans. I'm the ultimate she-male. Why settle for being hot as a girl or a guy when you can do both? Heart emoji, man in disguise emoji, down to do anything or anyone, sweating emoji. Yo, dude, $3.50 for the ultimate she-male? What a bargain! After it was discovered, he put the price up to $20. Now, you might question, what could he possibly be showing to justify such a price jump? The better question would be, what doesn't he show? Because I've seen everything. I've seen it all. I believe that God creates everyone equally. For every negative trait, you have equal positive traits to balance it out. You may not be able to see, but you can smell real good. You may be slow in the brain, but physically you are a 7-foot ogre. Looking at Bowblax, his physical appearance, portions, and perceived intelligence, I can only assume that his existence has in some way slighted God. Let me tell you, Bowblax is being punished for something. Mr. Miss Manshi seems to be like Bowblax's true passion. He set up a Twitter, he set up a YouTube, he set up an Instagram, he set up a Blue Sky. This is going to be a big franchise for Bowblax. He was going to have Mr. Miss Manshi lunchboxes, Mr. Miss Manshi McDonald's tie-in meal with extra cream, the Mr. Miss Manshi Netflix show. You've heard of RuPaul's Drag Race. Now get ready for Retard's Drag Race. He made various posts on Reddit promoting his OnlyFans in threads such as r/non-binary, r/safe for trans, r/bisexual fantasy, r/4 skinny girls, r/gooned. We get further insight into Bowblax's twisted mind through the Mr. Manshi Twitter account, where he posts a line of symbols which read trans flag emoji, man with beard emoji, nail polish emoji, muscle emoji, peanut emoji, eggplant emoji, watermelon emoji, baby bottle emoji, peach emoji, red high heel emoji, lips emoji, socks emoji, shark emoji. Mr. Manshi is not just an online persona. Mr. Manshi is an Abrahamic demon living within Bowblax's body. If we take a look at ancient Christian imagery, a demon's form was often a grotesque merger of man and woman. In this Saints Row gameplay footage, Bowblax describes the intricate process he partakes in when creating the Manshi character he uses in game.
Like, I was going in with the details too. I'm like, okay, I want like the nose and chin to be masculine, but then everything, like, I was trying to get the perfect mix.
He really just went all in on being trans, didn't he? Like, I'll be honest, I don't think this guy is trans. I think he's just cripplingly autistic and has developed a fixation on cutting his own cock off. You might be thinking, Big Bungie, you're the foremost expert on these matters. Why do you think he did this? Well, based on the available evidence, he seems to have been groomed by Finster. If you'll allow me to hypothesize here, Bowblax strikes me as someone who doesn't really live in reality at all, to the point where I would almost say he's flat out delusional, medically speaking. He genuinely believed he could sell out those neckbeard plushies. Not once, but twice. The first time he failed, and then still after failing, he figured he could succeed the second time. In fact, he was so confident that he was talking about starting a plushie company and selling plushies professionally.
Chip plushes. They're kind of limited though. Eventually, I kind of do want to strike out on my own and make like the plushes outside of Makeship maybe.
I mean, this guy's out of his fucking mind. So considering all that, is it possible that this guy looked at Finster, saw all the money he's making off of like OnlyFans or whatever, and then assumed that he could do the same thing? I'll just chuck on a dress, you know? I'll just chuck on a dress and make $1 billion immediately. I genuinely think that's what his thought process was. And look, I'm not gay. I don't have sex with men. But there is an obvious physical difference between Bowblax and Finster, which probably correlates to their difference in OnlyFans success. Bowblax thought he was going to be the next Geordie. He thought he was going to be Down Station XXX next top model. But he's not going Downs. But he's not going Downs anywhere other than the station to be punished non-sexually for his sick crimes. I've seen people say that this is a humiliation ritual. I don't think it's a humiliation ritual. I just think Bowblax is cripplingly autistic and he doesn't know how to deal with this situation, so he's trying to like play it off as a joke or own it in some way. Whereas the non-autistic way to deal with this would just be to kill yourself, because this is devastating. The only thing worse than this would be if it was leaked that you were in Daisy's Destruction and you were the guy with the chainsaw. You know what I mean? And whilst that would be worse, and I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, it would be substantially less embarrassing than this. One of the things that can give us the greatest insight into Bowblax's mind is the tipster bullying streams. In hindsight, a lot of things that Bowblax said about Tipster appeared to be projection on his part. Bowblax spent a lot of time talking about Tipster being pansexual and trans, which we now know turned out to be true for Bowblax. What's more concerning is the things we don't know are true. Like when he talked about Tipster being sexually attracted to animals.
Not only is he pansexual, he's into bears, dude. He's into straight up bear cocks.
Or pro-child porn. One of his main bits was claiming that Tipster was hopelessly in love with Keffals. If we look at the past between Keffals and Bowblax, we find that one of their main interactions was Keffals sending Bowblax a video where he was bouncing his fake tits up and down. After this interaction, Bowblax posted many times on his alternate Twitter account about how much he wanted to dominate and bed Keffals. I think Bowblax fell in love with Keffals. I think these DMs were the first time in his life where he has received attention from something vaguely female. And after this, he fell deeply in love and became incredibly jealous and insecure about Keffals' relationship with Tipster, and as such he started the Tipster bullying streams to get rid of the competition. In Homer's Odyssey, Odysseus, the king of Ithaca, leaves his wife Penelope to fight in the Trojan War, and after 20 years of absence he is assumed dead, so 108 suitors invade the royal palace to demand Penelope's hand in marriage. Penelope, not wanting to marry any of these men as they are beta males, states that she will marry whomever can string Odysseus' bow and fire an arrow through 12 axe heads. After all 108 suitors try and fail, a peasant emerges from the crowd, firing an arrow for all 12 axe heads, before then turning the weapon on the suitors and killing them all. Penelope then realizes that the peasant is her long-lost husband, and they live happily ever after. This is basically how Bowblax sees himself. Keffals is his Penelope, and Tipster is the 108, as he possesses the weight of 108 men. And instead of firing an arrow through 12 axes to prove himself, he has to wear a dress and jerk off on Reddit. To add on to this thought of Bowblax projecting his own issues outwards, he has many times brought up his sister and claimed that she's the victim of many horrific rapes, such as in a debate he had with Mr. Girl. His own friends have lamented on the fact that Bowblax is very unwilling to give out information about himself, but easily spills forth details about his sister's rape abundance.
His family trauma might as well be everybody else's knowledge. He always talks about it, so I don't know. I know more about his sister's fucking situation than I think anyone has the right to know.
So going on from this, we know that Bowblax has a history of projection, and we know that Bowblax's sister has been raped. Right? So to me, it seems obvious that Bowblax raped his own sister. How else would he know the details, huh? He could have very well torn those dresses from his own sister's back. We might be looking at a Norma Bates situation here, except she's alive. Well, actually, we don't know that, do we? You might think this is bad, but I started to notice the cracks in Bowblax's fragile psyche. In a debate where he spent 11 minutes arguing that the white people should be made extinct in their home nations.
So, Why do we care if white people become a minority? Who gives a fuck?
Think about it. All those tweets about autists being the master race. Think about it. He spends all day playing Pikmin, a game about racial eugenics. Think about it. No, he's not Jewish. He's not Jewish. I've seen his dick. He's not Jewish. He could very well be Chinese, though. Now, for me, an outsider, this is already bad enough. But for his friends, I have to assume that this situation has recontextualized various awkward interactions with Bowblax into something much more sinister. They're at VidCon. Oh hey Nick, where's Bowblax? Oh, he's just in the bathroom. Hey Augie, how you doing? What the fuck? He puts it out of his mind, right? He puts that out of his mind, and then he goes to the hotel, and they've had a couple drinks, and Bowblax bends over a second. Whoa, what's that? What are you wearing? What are you wearing, man? What's that, Bo? What are you wearing? Augie's editing videos late at night. Outside the door, he just hears. It could have been worse. Imagine if he walked in on him. Although his parents probably did, didn't they? It would explain their disappointment. If I walked in on my son hanging from the ceiling in a dress, masturbating vigorously, that would be disappointing. Now, there were a few people who made the brave decision to defend Bowblax on this one.
It's a similar thing to the guy from Twitch sketch. It's not a matter of them doing anything wrong.
No, this is wrong. This is wrong. He posted this to fucking Reddit. He has terrorized the Twitter timeline. Lives have been lost. Innocence shattered. His initial response echoed this sentiment. He was complaining about like a devastating breach of privacy by sharing images that he posted publicly to Reddit. He then later deleted this response to go all in on a risky move.
I was trying to avoid it and hope that someone would look into this Manchi account more to know that it's not me, but it's gotten to the point now where so many people have talked about this account being mine that people IRL are talking to me as if it's fact. This is insane.
I fucking love this. This is a great response. The blatant attempt at gaslighting the internet about something you fucking admitted to 2 days ago. Do some fucking research. Here, look at this screenshot. The Manchi email? It wasn't there the whole time. Look, it wasn't there. Bowblax, I'm watching the stream. I can clearly see the Manchi email. No. Look again. Look a second time. None of my emails start with an M. Dude, girl boss, gatekeeper, gaslight, he truly is a queen. I think this had a 1 in a million chance of working, but can you imagine the alternate universe where this worked? Oh my god! He was innocent the whole time! Chud Logic puts out an apology. I have made some slanderous, untrue statements about the girth and length of a certain person's penis. I don't care how much you dislike Bowblax, you have to respect the attempt, right? How much do you think he thought this would work? Like, on a percentile scale? Like 100%? He thought it was 100% chance of working? This is what I've got to do. This'll stop him. This'll stop him. I think it's pretty much over for Bowblax. There's no coming back from this. Unless he manages to create like a really successful Pikmin channel. And maybe there's hope. But in drama, he's finished. He's finished. He's tried to get a 1-up on Tipster recently, and people in the replies were just going, "You wore a dress, small cock, like, channel's dead, you got owned." Like, imagine you're trying to call someone out on Twitter, like a rapist, like a full-on rapist, right? And you're like, "These rapes have to stop!" And then someone just responds by pulling up all your stats. "Your penis is 2.5 inches in length and 1.14 inches in circumference. This would medically qualify you as having a micro penis." So yeah, he's pretty much dead. You know, he has to make Pikmin videos. His own drama niche has been stolen from him now. Internet Versus stole his whole niche and does it a lot better, to be honest. And maybe I'll just start making Pikmin videos. Corner the Pikmin market. I've never even played Pikmin, but if I did, I'd be the best. Just like my shirts are the best. Bungie's big store.myshopify.com. They're so good. They're so cheap. They're always on sale because they're so cheap. It's unbelievable. The drugs, they're wearing off. The drugs were really wearing off for Bowblax. He was never even on them. But they've already worn off. And he looks like a man. He looks like a man. He's jerking off on his Twitter account. He was tucking his penis behind his thighs on Reddit. Huge shirt design, so good, so clean. Much cleaner than this guy's Reddit history. Bungie's big store.myshopify.com. Get your shirts. Bowblax cannot function. He would not be able to do any job, and yet, by sheer, unbelievable luck, dare I say miracle, he managed to stumble onto the only thing he could not only do, but also paid him a 6-figure salary for at most like 10 hours a week, you know? And somehow he managed to fuck it all up because he started getting above his station. Started thinking he could be Big Bungie. You're not a Big Bungie. Okay, your place is in the Twitter mine. You neglected your station, and now the Indians have shown up. The Indians have shown up, and they're taking your money. But the worst thing is that he's boring. I didn't even want to make this video, because he's boring. He's really boring. The OnlyFans stuff is the only interesting thing he's ever done in his life. And look, being boring isn't even bad. I wouldn't have made a video. I doubt Medica would have done a stream if, if the only thing he was doing was lying about BPD. I certainly didn't give a shit at the time. But this guy was desperate to be known. He was desperate to be internet famous. And, he certainly is now.